How you guys doing today? I'm NiiNiiFC, this is Blue Lions TV, and welcome to another pre-match live show. Of course, it's an opportunity for you guys to have your questions answered by me. And of course, I'll be talking about the game and giving my thoughts and opinions on it, as well as going through the match lineup today as well. But before I get into anything, today's video was brought to you by the One Football app. If you guys want to help me out, you want to support me, in the link in the description below will be a link to the One Football app. What you guys waiting for? Link below. But getting straight into things, starting with the lineup for today. Now, of course, there's a massive reason why I wanted to remain patient before I gave any definitive thoughts on Sarri. And it's for reasons like this, because I knew that we'd get to a point where we were going to see Emerson, Ruben and Hudson-Odoi. It was going to take time. Sarri's basically been saying the only reason why these men haven't been playing yet is purely for tactical defensive reasons. They have to understand where to be on and off the ball. Listen, if you want to play in this team, be on point when it comes to that. Sarri's right. I had Nathaniel Chalobah on during the summer. He spoke about his time at Napoli. He spoke about his time working under Sarri. If you guys want that, there will be a link somewhere in my video to, Chalobah in that interview. Chalobah talked about the fact that one of the biggest hurdles was understanding the tactical positioning that Sarri expects from his players. All the news is out there, information's out there, so it does get a bit disappointing that people purposely decide to ignore it, to just stick with their biased opinions. But this lineup was always going to be a work in progress. It really was. Hudson-Odoi starting games now, another consecutive start. Ruben, if the guy was fully fit, would have played infinitely more games. Back then, when he was just getting to the steam of things, if that injury never came, you guys, he'd have played a lot more games. And I think our league position is a bit higher up. Christensen with Luiz. This is a lineup that I'm happy with, or you guys are happy with. All the cynics out there that were talking about, oh, it's obvious that Alonso is going to play today. Oh, obviously it's Pedro and Willie. Come on. Like, Sarri knows the players that can play this style of football, but some of them weren't ready in the tactical aspects. That's not saying the overall tactical game's weak, but in regards to what Sarri expects from these guys, some of these players just weren't there. I've done a shit ton of videos throughout the season explaining why. Ruben, he hasn't played midfield for how many years? It was always going to take him a while. But Sarri came through, gave him obviously a task to work towards, and now he's a first team player. But yeah, you guys, yo, comment sections. You guys, don't worry. You know what? I'm just running my mouth too much now. It's time to answer some questions, because that's what you guys are here for. So let me answer some questions. Triple H, exactly. I mean, come on. I knew that we were going to see a big lineup like this. It was not a surprise to me. So I can't even act surprised or excited. I can't, because I knew it was going to be the case. Okay, let me find some questions. Have I heard anything about the transfer ban? Nope, nothing's come out yet. But as I've already detailed in videos, but I've broke down why we're in the transfer ban in the first place, what we can do, etc., etc. Listen, even if this appeal's turned down, we can still take it to the, to Kaz. For me, my personal opinion, I feel very optimistic that we are going to have our transfer ban postponed for at least one window. When it's happened to so many Spanish teams, and when we haven't done, like, the stuff we've done isn't on their level. So I'm feeling optimistic. And from hearing reports and stuff, I can tell you guys one thing, you guys on the stream. I'm hearing that Jovic is our number one priority signing for this season. Obviously for next season, which is exciting. I haven't done a video on it yet because nothing's coming out just yet. And, it's common sense to me. Until we find out what's going to happen with the transfer ban, I'm not going to be hearing too much context in regards to this or that. Once we find out the answer, I can imagine there's going to be so much information coming out. And this is the perfect channel for you guys to stay tuned to all the latest news. But yeah, you guys, Jovic is the number one priority. So I'm just praying now we get Champions League football for next season. That's going to be an important thing, to get Champions League football. But I'm still waiting for a good question to answer. Let me look for some. Giroud should have started, but great lineup. Hey, maybe Higuain's starting to, slowly get accustomed to the league, slowly get his fitness levels up. I mean, it was always going to be quite hard for the guy, but even then, I'm sorry, Higuain hasn't put in an awful performance. Of course, maybe that game where what was it against Fulham where he had so many opportunities in the first half, yeah. But other than that, I think his link-up play's been decent, his movement. Most times, the final pass has messed it up for this guy time and time again. I just think that he needs to understand playing with the team a lot longer. You know, football is a team game. There's a lot of relationships. And, you know, it's all about understanding what your teammates are going to do. I mean, Ajax were testament to that when they beat Juventus. So I do have faith in Higuain. And I do think if we kept the guy and he was a plan B alongside a Jovic, it would make a ton of sense in my opinion. And we'd have a squad strong enough to, you know, to go for trophies, you know, in all competitions. So I think, you know, I still got faith in Higuain. I still got faith in him. Christensen is our weakest link. Nah, he's most definitely not. Aiden, if we stick with this for the rest of the season, I'd be happy. I mean, it's been like we've used this lineup for the past few games now. So I mean, this is going to be the lineup until the end of the season. Let's be serious. Okay, other questions. Stealthy Ninja, Burnley have won their last few games, so we can't do what they did against Slavia Prague in the second half. But at the same time, you know, there was context for that particular game. You know, Hazard was getting hacked down non-stop. His intensity really fell off, and when you're using when you play a style of football like this, where pressing is key, it always starts from the top. Every single time it starts from the top. So if a Hazard isn't doing his thing, that is going to mess up how the rest of the team presses. I could see right, Ross Barkley, I was thinking, right, this guy isn't in position, but because Hazard wasn't doing his thing, Barkley had to overcompensate. So this is why he couldn't get back in position when he needed to. It's a trickle-down effect. The minute one person don't do his job, it messes it up for everyone else. So, you know, that's one thing I wish I could take back from my match review. Maybe not sticking it on Ross Barkley, because when I watched the game, I understood why. Because he had to obviously make up for Hazard not doing his thing. Who was getting kicked and obviously wants to keep his fitness, because, you know, he wants to go Real Madrid end of the season. Okay, Momo M, Nini, what would make you turn Sarri out? What would make me turn Sarri out was if the system or style doesn't work. I've always said that. For me, I've seen a lot of potential in it. I've been wanting to see this particular lineup you guys are seeing on screen, because this is the only team that was going to do justice to this style of football. But I think that in the next season, when, you know, better suited players come in, we'll be much stronger, we'll be much more well versed in this style of football. I'm really optimistic still. So yeah. Okay. Of course, you guys, if you want your question prioritised, do send a super chat. Obviously, don't get annoyed if I don't answer all your questions. There's an echo. Honestly, I don't know what's happening then. I don't know why there's an echo. That makes no sense. Hello? Is that better, you guys? Hello? Is that better, you guys? This is the thing with live streams, you guys. Sometimes it doesn't matter. This is the thing with live streams, you guys, I understand. Sometimes it doesn't matter. This is the thing with live streams, you guys, I understand. Sometimes it doesn't matter. This is the thing with live streams, you guys, I understand. Sometimes it doesn't matter. This is the thing with live streams, you guys, I understand. Sometimes it doesn't matter. This is the thing with live streams, you guys, I understand. Is that better, you guys? Again, apologies. Is that better, you guys? This live stream shit sometimes. Again, apologies. Don't go in your favour. This live stream shit sometimes. Again, apologies. I don't know what's happening. If you guys see me on screen, apologies. I don't know what's happening. If you guys see me on screen, apologies. I don't know what's happening. If you guys see me on screen, apologies. It's basically green, so it says that my connections is basically green, so it says that. But obviously, it's basically green, so it says that. But obviously, it's basically green. You guys, but obviously, it's basically something about this. Apologies for it. Apologies for the stream messing up. Is that better? It's good now? It's good? Alright, cool. We back. We back. Hey, apologies, you man. It's peak. It's peak. But obviously, I want to answer you guys. I'm going to ask you guys a question in the comment section. Are you guys feeling optimistic about the game tonight? Do you see us beating Burnley? For me, obviously, it's a must-win game. And I knew from the start there was no way in hell that teams like United, Arsenal and Spurs were going to win all the rest of their games. These teams have barely strung together more than 8 consecutive wins in a season. I mean, come on, that wasn't going to be happening. I always felt optimistic that we were going to get a top 4 finish. And it's looking quite good for us. Obviously, after Burnley, we're facing a useless Man United team right now. So it's happy days, really. But, okay. NiiNii, with those experimental audio bits. NiiNii, are you worried we may miss Tony, as Barnes and Woods are both strong and good in the air? It'll be interesting to see. I think it's a bit exaggerated that, Christensen's much weaker against physical strikers. Listen, he's not perfect. That's fine. But he still holds himself quite well, in my personal opinion. I think that he can handle playing against Burnley forwards, in my opinion. So I'm not too worried about that. And there's no way that even if Burnley were to target Christensen and have their strikers, go man-to-man with him to win aerial balls, so what? What happens after that? Because Kante's going to come and help sweep up. Aspie's going to move in a bit tighter. So we can just overcompensate for that, in my opinion. So I'm not too worried about that. Alfie Brown, NiiNii, have you got any news on Callum? Is he going to stay? And I did release a video, must have been a month ago, where I did tell you guys that the club are very optimistic that Callum is going to be staying. For me, it looks a certainty that he is going to stay. Obviously, with Hazard going, it's clear that Callum's going to take the mantle on the left-hand side. So, I mean, it's just it's a matter of time. For me, the guy's he's a Chelsea player. He's going to be here next season. But I know for some people, they like to see it written on words first before they get that confidence. So, depends on the individual. Dillian Johnson, Jada Silva or Emerson. Hey, Jada Silva, a little bit of a Brazilian sauce, of course. This guy, every time, he overcomes every obstacle. He just does it. When he went to Charlton, didn't start playing more consistently until the second half of the season. Same thing with Bristol. They had a younger guy playing in front of him from their academy. And it's just are people still going to use this guy's height against him? What is the point? I don't understand. I really don't get it. And you think with us too. We had Ashley Cole. He wasn't a massive guy. A lot of the top fullbacks aren't massive. Albers, guys like Roberto Carlos back in the day, Alaba, they ain't 6 foot. You don't need to be that big, in my opinion, because when you're a fullback, it's mainly down to your 50-50 play. Wingers aren't using their body to outmuscle you to get by you. They're not doing that. I know the tactical game's a bit different now because a lot of midfield players that make those ride ones out wide. But you can still obviously make up for that with intelligent positional sense. So it would really annoy me if we were bottlenecking Jada Silva because of his height, and it would just sum up the lack of footballing sense at this club. And believe me, there's a big lack of footballing sense at this club. Okay. I got a super chat. Thanks for that, bro. Momo M, appreciate that a lot, man. As I said, you guys, if anyone wants their question prioritized, do send a super chat. Hanif, yes, Hanif, what you saying, man? Chelsea always go on market. I don't think we're going to start Joel or Ruben next year. This is what I mean. Where's all this pessimism coming from? How many times do I have to say there was context of why things happen this season? Everyone's just super negative for no reason sometimes, and it's kind of just try and analyze it for yourself and break it down. Why do people think all of a sudden that Ruben and Hudson-Odoi aren't going to play? They've improved their tactical understanding of the systems much better. Of course, they're going to be getting game. I'm just going to ignore that one. Carol, Tamir, okay, that's not for me. Goody. Wan-Bissaka or Reece James, obviously Reece James. Ice, if Hudson-Odoi ends up being Rashford levels, would you be satisfied? What does that mean? I'm not going to lie, you guys. For me, Rashford isn't going to be a world-class player. I like the guy. I think he's cool. He's a decent player. But there's levels to it. Now, I could easily be, my words could be used against me in the future. If Rashford does end up being a top-class player, he's going to be a late bloomer. We won't see it until he's 26 or 27. Right now, his games just hasn't really developed, and he's been playing for United for so long. I think what's really messed him up is the fact that he hasn't had a set position to play in. He's a strike. I mean, his best position is playing up front with the striker, so he can move him behind a bit. But United don't do that consistently as much. Hudson-Odoi for me is a better player. Like at the same age, Hudson-Odoi was much better. Yeah, Rashford got goals, but he's playing up front. If you see this guy playing on the wings, he can't do anything. Head down, constantly loses the ball, doesn't play the final pass when he needs to. I honestly don't understand why he's not critiqued as much, but let's see what he does. But let's not be comparing Rashford and Hudson-Odoi. Let's not be doing that. Yes, Dan. What role will Purely play? For me, he'll be on the wing and he'll be a sub. I can't see Pulisic coming in playing first team consistently. Remember, he has to understand what Sarri demands from him. That will take him time. Of course, he's going to have the benefit of obviously joining us early for pre-season, which is going to help. But he's a young guy. He needs to develop a bit more. It'll be interesting to see what happens with him. I'm not going to lie. I think for the money we paid, I think it's quite crazy that we spent so much for someone that isn't like an elite level player in that sense, you know? Like 60 million is quite a lot of money. And for me, I want a bit of guarantee from a player if I'm spending that type of money. Not a Pulisic where it's like, he hasn't had one like super standout year with Dortmund. And it's like, you know, if you normally when you splash that type of money, the guy has to produce the goods consistently for a season. That's why Dembele cost so much money, and that's why he went to Barcelona. We went for the BSEC option for how much money. I don't know. I've got some thoughts and opinions on Pulisic, but I don't want to be too cynical. I do want to give him some time so I can see if he does develop. But for me, Pulisic is going to be the long game. I expect him to be here for a while to help us sell shirts. Hopefully he improves along the way. I got a super chat. Thank you, Antonio. Always backing it every stream, man. Really appreciate it. Where do you see Pulisic fitting in the team? I feel he might have to drop back to the number 8 position in the future. I don't think so. I mean, I'd only see Pulisic moving back into the number 8 role if he somehow sustained big injuries and lost his pace a bit. But nah, I don't see him doing that. I guess maybe in America, for the American national team, he might play central. But that's like tactical reasons for them. Pulisic ain't going to be a number 8. He's always going to be a winger. My only annoyance is that we've signed another right-footed player. I don't understand the club haven't realised that there's not enough left-footed players. When you're seeing what teams like Man City are doing and Liverpool are doing inside forwards with their left foot, it shows just how important it is, you know. But I think Pulisic, you know, I still think that we've signed this guy to be a squad player, and we'll see how he develops over the next year or two before the club really has any like final expectations on the player. So I guess we had to overpay in that sense because we had to beat competition from other clubs. But you know, I'm not feeling too pessimistic about the player. I've got a tiny bit of optimism, but I've got some realistic expectations on the player, and I do think that next season's going to be like a development year for him. Moving on. Lamin, fans, do you want to see the games? How do you see the game today? Normally, I just type in Chelsea vs Burnley live, Reddit, do that. Or go on Ronaldo 7. I mean, everyone knows Ronaldo 7, right? That's like the first like streaming website everyone finds out about. So, if you guys don't know it, it's called Ronaldo 7. Type it in on Google. Boom. NiiNii, how do you get monthly doing this Blue Lions TV? How much do I earn monthly doing this Blue Lions TV? Obviously, YouTube actually don't allow you to fully disclose. They don't allow you to do that, so I don't think I'm copying out. But it's not life-changing money. Obviously, I've been working for a while to obviously get to make a decent living from this. And even with decent, I mean, listen, it's nothing amazing. It's like an average salary right now, you know. So it's really whatever you're thinking, minus, you know, divide it by half. Okay. Chelsea fan, why is William the bench? You have to ask. Sorry, I'm just looking. Ronaldo 7 hasn't been showing league games. Oh, it hasn't. Oh, then I don't know. Then Bindle Walker, hey NiiNii, would you take back Diego Costa? Maybe I would. I think so. I think he leads the line very well, presses really well. Hey, possibility. I wouldn't be opposed to taking back Diego Costa. Joanid, do you think that Odoi should be a bit more inside at times instead of staying wide? But I mean, he's playing on the right, so obviously he can't be two in field. Sorry, wants him to stretch the play so he can go 1v1. So if he's on the right hand side, that's what he's going to do. He's not going to be cutting inside. Yeah, Total Sport Tech shows games as well, so Google that. Blue Line 366 Nini. Would you rather sell Kante or Hudson-Odoi? I wouldn't sell any of them. I don't need to sell any of them either. So nah, I'm not even answering that. They have a Spanish. Okay, other questions. Mo Flanders. We must have the most pessimistic fans in world football. Oh, honest, I think that's one thing with football fans in general. Like, I feel like there's like a consumerist mentality around viewing the game. It's all about instant gratification and results. It don't work like that. And my thing's always been, a lot of times it comes from the older fans. And I've always thought, right, you guys used to watch us back in the 70s and 80s, 90s, where we didn't have any money. We weren't really competing for the big, prestigious trophies consistently. You know what I mean? Where did your love for, how did your views on the game change? You know, I don't understand. It's a bit too pessimistic, and it's like there's no objectivity in it, because if you're objective, you think of the pros and cons. You know, so that is a bit too much. Other questions. Are we going to finish top 4? Personally, I think we will. I have said from the start of the season, before the season started, I see us getting top 4 finish and winning the Europa League. We're still on course to do that. I'm still feeling pretty optimistic about that. And I always said for Sarri's first year, that was the bare minimum he needed to do. If he does that, it's been a good season in my opinion. Okay. Momo M. We have to bring back Reece James if we sign Pepe Lini. 1,000,000%. One thing that so many clubs in this country forget about is if you have a top winger, have a top supporting fullback to play alongside with him. It's common sense, but it just doesn't happen for some reason. Instead, you have these negative managers that decide, you know what, if I've got an attacking winger, I need to balance that by having a defensively minded, fullback. But that doesn't really help out during the course of a season because, they bottleneck each other, which is the annoying thing. Okay, goody. Thank you for the super chat, man. Can Pepe play as a striker or false nine in a Sarri system? He can. I always say with false nine, you guys, false nine implies that you're dropping deeper. So obviously get into the ball, get on the ball, get involved in the game to start moves and stuff. That's what a false nine is. But just because you're like a small winger that moves up front doesn't always mean you're playing as a false nine. I think there's only been one game this season where I could say that we looked, we used Hazard in a false nine role. Every other game he's played as a forward, and it's quite obvious that, it's the reason why it's never worked. Okay. Other questions? Boom. Zafia Kafli, thank you for the super chat, man. Just joins. Are you happy Christensen got picked? I mean, if Rudiger's not available, there's no way Cahill's going to play. Why? Cahill can't play out from the back. Cahill obviously doesn't have the composure as well. And obviously, he can't play in a high line because he doesn't have the pace. So, I mean, it was always going to happen in my opinion, man. Antonio again. Thanks a lot, man. I'm here in America and Chelsea has made their money back on Pulisic. Would you take Benzema and cash for Hazard? Benzema's doing bits this season. I've always said, you guys that listen to my streams, when you have a player like Ronaldo, a striker's going to have to sacrifice their game. You have to, because Ronaldo is going to have that free role where he's going to start his position on the left, then move in fields with the late man runs. If that's the case, that means your striker has to drop deep to take out defenders away for Ronaldo to do that. I do sympathise, but I mean, look at him now. He's got 30 goals this season. Top class forward, he always has been. We've seen Dybala struggling the same. It's quite evident that him and Ronaldo can't play together. Juve have to come to some decisions. But of course, thank you again for that. And you're right. With the amount of money we're going to make on Pulisic is going to be crazy. It's going to be ridiculous. It's a good investment signing. I'm not going to be like Pulisic wasn't worth the money. A lot of times, us fans always want this player, that player, that player. But how does that get funded? With financial fair play, it's all about clubs having to get their hustle on to obviously create more revenue streams to earn more, in like the right ways, instead of having like their sugar daddies like injecting cash in the club. These are the type of things you need to do. It makes a lot of sense. I can imagine that Pulisic is going to attract a lot more American fans, and I'm hoping that for my channel too, I'll have a much more bigger American audience as well, because they're just as passionate. Listen, every football fan is passionate about the game, no matter where you are in the world, in my opinion. But moving on to the next question, Harry Truman, how do we get rid of Alonso NiiNiiFC with a 5-year deal? Hey, I've always said, yeah, I would love that. Listen, Real Madrid's, here's what we'll do, yeah? We want to sign Jovic. We don't want you to have him. We know that you want Hazard, and we know that Alonso has, the Alonso family has history with the club, and you could do with a left back as well. If you guarantee that you're going to sign, obviously, Alonso as well, we'll reduce the Hazard fee, and if we reduce the Hazard fee, don't sign Jovic. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that did work out in the future. That's just my own opinion. I'm just hypothesizing how it could work. But if that was me, if Real Madrid are going after a player I want, when they want our best player, that means that we have the most leverage. So I think that if we sacrifice making a bit more profit on Hazard, knowing that is going to guarantee us a Jovic, it makes smart business sense in my opinion. But that's only my opinion. No one get it twisted as me like quoting sources or nothing, because I'm not. Just my opinion. Okay, I'm going to be here for 5 more minutes, you guys. I need to keep it moving. Felix, do you see the transfer ban being overturned? It's not going to be overturned. I've done so many videos on it. Honestly, type in transfer ban and Blue Lions TV. You'll get all the information you need. Falling Clan, Mount is the next midfielder. For Kansei. I don't know the context you mean, man. Sorry. AQ33L. Richarlison would be a brilliant signing. I've always said with Richarlison, he's the type of guy that needs to play consistently first before he does reach that next level. I don't think it's there just yet. I think he can be a player that does get 20 goals a season. But until he does that, I'm not going to be too interested in the player just yet, because he's going to cost a lot of money, and for big money, I want some guarantees. Christian, thank you, man. What would your lineup be for next season without a ban? For me, I'm thinking about the long term here. Even though I do love David Luiz, and I could easily see him playing a lot of games next season. I feel like Sarri's going to rotate a lot more for next season with a much more suited squad. But I'm always thinking about the long term. It'll have to be Reece James, Christensen, Zuma. I'd like to see Jada Silva, but I persist with Emerson for now. Obviously, Kepa in goal. Jorginho, Kansei, Ruben. Up front would be Hudson-Odoi. It depends if Higuain stays. Probably not. Maybe Olivier Giroud or Tammy Abraham's coming back, and on the right hand side it would probably be Pulisic for now. So that's how our lineup would look like. Of course, our bench would be a lot more stronger if guys like Mason Mount did come back, but it'll be interesting to see if he's guaranteed to come back. I think that it would be great for him to come and play along with these guys. He's played for how many years with guys like Hudson-Odoi and etc., etc. As I keep stressing all the time, Ajax showed that you don't need to have like 11 world-class players. It's all about the relationship and understanding with your teammates. I think Del Piero himself even commented on that after that game against Juventus, saying that that's one of the most important things that's overlooked in football constantly, and we've got that. So I would like to see guys like Mount back on the bench. I would like to see Jada Silva. I would like to see Tammy Abraham on the bench as well, and alongside the other guys that we have, Lewis on the bench and others. Do I think that it's enough for us to get a guaranteed top 4? No, I don't think it would be, because we've missed out on Hazard, and Hazard's got us 50% of our goals this season. It wouldn't be great for us. So, in a way, if the club has aspirations of obviously being in the Champions League more regular, praying for a transfer window, because we'd have to spend big to safeguard ourselves for the next year without a window. But I personally don't feel our squad would be strong enough for a guaranteed top 4 finish, but I'd be okay with that, knowing that it's a lot younger and they're only going to get better exponentially as the years go on. Okay, goody, thank you, bro. Will Reece James be guaranteed match time? Joe struggled. Hudson-Odoi just had to get more experience with the system and work on things, it'll be the same thing for any player we sign. So let's not start getting pessimistic about whether Reece James is going to play. Of course he will. I think the bigger manager said it himself. Reece James was that good that any manager would have seen his talents and used them. So I think he's safe. Antonio again, bro, man, you're doing too much. I appreciate it, man, but nah, I don't deserve all this generosity. Your question is, I think we are the worst crossing team in the top 6, easily. But I don't understand why we don't get more players in the box. You know what it is? One of the reasons why I talk about the squad not being as good yet comes down to individuals. And we have to understand that, you know, depending on the quality of the player, their footballing instincts are going to be different. That's the reality of the situation. And you know, there's a reason why Ruben looks so good, because his instincts suit playing in the role he plays in. A lot of these guys don't have that. For me, Willian has never been someone that really gets in the books. He's always been more of an inside foot winger who cuts inside, takes a shot from distance. He was never going to be the guy that will get you 20 goals a season, right? Because the guys that get 20 goals per season playing out wide are the forwards that make runs inside the books. That's not Willian's instinct to do that. He's not that type of player. And it's weird to me sometimes, because I swear we were all brought up playing Football Manager. We know that whatever tactics we try to develop, playing out wide, you could use a wide playmaker, a winger, inside. I mean, so many. That concept isn't too different from the reality of how football works today. So, and a lot of times when people are saying, why isn't this happening or that happening, that's because the squad just isn't really suited just yet. And a lot of the instincts of these guys just isn't what we need. That's the reality. But yeah, until we get in more players, until we have fullbacks that can consistently put in good crosses. Because think about it, how many times, yeah, are you a forward that's going to make a run, knowing that every cross is going to go just behind you or just in front of you? After a while, that is going to, because they're humans, remember, that is going to affect your confidence, knowing that I can't really trust this guy to give me the right service. So until the ability is back in this squad, we're going to see so much misunderstandings. And this is why I've always believed in the potential of the system, because a lot of times where we mess up, it's always been down to individual mistakes and no real weakness of the system, in my personal opinion. So I think that with better players executing things, just how, you know, players have done that for Liverpool and City, I feel that we'd be on a much more better path for next season. Yems, man like Yems, would you take Oscar back? I don't know. I think that playing in the Chinese league for so long, the level of football there ain't amazing. Let's be serious. It could take him a while to come back. Oscar's someone I sympathise for though, and it gets me thinking every time. Imagine if Maurizio Sarri took over that squad that had guys like De Bruyne, Salah, Oscar, Hazard. They're one of the best teams in the world. That was how sick we were as a club back in those days. How many times have we signed players without even hearing about it in the press? We didn't hear about the signings until right at the very last minute. We used to get this shit secured beforehand. You know why? Because there was a vision from the footballing director, Michael Emenalo. Oh, we want this player to come in the team. Oh, we can't get him this season? That's okay. We're going to keep monitoring him. We're going to come back again. And this is why, during that time, we were constantly able to get these guys signed quickly, and we were so good for it. The model now, and for me, it's been since Mourinho was sacked, costing this club a ton of money, missing out on Champions League football, really making people have to restructure, how they see this club making money. There's a reason why the strategy turned into, slightly much more affordable players and not really considering the talent as much. I'm hoping that we work ourselves back to a place where we do get to that level where we're focusing on the quality more than obviously the price of the player. But with this shit, I mean, it's just so much context. I mean, you could talk about it forever. You really could. And maybe it might be an interesting stream to do one day. Who knows? Okay, Xavier Paisley, Rip's wrong question. August. What do you think about signing Pepe and Jovic? I think they're fantastic. I mean, I've done so many videos on them. Like if you want to hear like my proper thoughts, I've done top 7 targets to replace Eden Hazard. I do speak about Jovic and Pepe in there. I suggest you give that a watch. Nini, are you going to today's game? No, I'm not. And this is actually the weird thing, you guys, now, because obviously I haven't been going to games as much. I've got a season ticket too, and it's purely been down to the fact that I feel like I've got a responsibility for the audience. I mean, think about it. I've got like 53,000 subs. That's a lot of people. When you've got that many people that tune in to watch your content, hear what you have to say, you've got a degree of responsibility. So it's like, can I really afford to go to games, come back 2-3 hours later to do a video? It's a bit too late by then, you know? So it's annoying. If I had the fortune of having a team like other channels do, then maybe I'd go back to maybe I would get a season ticket for next season. But now, you know, like I'm saying, I've got a responsibility to make videos and push out content for you guys. So that's what I got to do, you know. Salam, yes, bro. Nearly keep up the good work. Appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot. Sadir Thapper, who can be the ideal manager to bring our youth prospects to the first team? Well, for me, my opinion, I think we got that in Sarri. But I've always said, if Sarri ever goes, and let's be serious with how football works, 3-4 years is all you need for a particular system. People might bring up guys like Sir Alex Ferguson, but the reason why Sir Alex stayed so long at Man United was because every 3-4 seasons, the system changed and the personnel changed. And that's why he was consistently able to stay at the top. You don't see many managers doing that. You know, not many managers are as good as Sir Alex Ferguson is. It's a very hard thing that he accomplished. But one day our future is going to be without Sarri. I don't think that's anything too crazy to say. It's just realities. I would like to see a Lampard coming back. I want to see us bring back the old heads. I want them to have positions in senior roles at the club. I want them to have coaching positions. I want them to be managers as well. That's what I want to see. I would love to see Lampard in the future. Vinicius and Hudson-Odoi. Honestly, I don't know if there's too much of a difference between them just yet. You know, we always do that as fans, but I mean, come on. Unless we're like coaches where we know like the minute details about a player's game, it's just going to be biased opinions. Let's be serious. Super Chelsea FC. Sorry, you're out, guys. Or are you a Chelsea fan like me? Floyd Mayweather. Nini. Why do you prefer Sarri or do you prefer Sarri or Eddie Howe? Yeah, I prefer Sarri. And even then, Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe, obviously, during a few years ago when Sarri was at Empoli, they actually went to Italy to meet him. They spent some time, spoke about football. They kept a very good relationship since then. So, even Eddie Howe, with how he coaches his teams, with how fluid they are transitioning between different formations, he's kind of in that same mindset as a Sarri. It's all about positional intelligence and awareness. But obviously, he's at a team like Bournemouth where the quality of player can't really execute it consistently. Yuval, who do you think Chelsea should bring back or stay at the left back position? For me, I want to see Jadon Silva come back as a partner at Emerson. I would like to see that. Football after 4K, Zaha and Pepe to replace Eden would be amazing. You're right, and I'm even thinking, what if we didn't sign a Jovic, but Zaha was going to be the guy? I don't think Zaha would get us 25 goals a season. But I think if Zaha played as a centre forward for us, I could see him getting 30 goal contributions a season. That might be 16 goals and 14 assists. But goal contributions play a big part. And I think that it could bang, as well as the added bonus that, he's flexible all across the front three. Zaha, for me, is one of the best attacking players in the league. People will use the fact that he plays for Palace against him, but again, for people that just appreciate players and, know the type of details to look for with how they play the game, Zaha has to score high for a lot of those types of people. I rate the guy highly. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him come. I mean, of course, with how the transfer windows work, we all have our own opinions. We put in the top tier players we'd like to see come second if that don't happen, etc., etc. But Zaha is ready for a big club right now, 100%. And I think that he would be a good fit with us. What type of player was Juan Castillo? Very similar to all the other fullbacks we produced, which sums up the quality of the fullbacks that we produce at this club. Okay, what type of... Okay. You guys, I'm going to be here literally for one more minute because I need to keep it moving to get ready for the game. NiiNii, which was your favourite official sponsor for Chelsea? Autoglass or Samsung? I kind of have to... I mean, Autoglass when I was a kid going to games. That was when Zola was the king of Stamford Bridge. Samsung was probably the happier days, was, you know, the winning titles and trophies. I'm going with Samsung, man. Andrew Hill, thank you for the super chat, means a lot. I don't think I've missed anyone's super chats. Okay, I've got everyone's. Kimi, what's your opinion on this team in the Champions League? Well, let's be serious. The reason why I like Sarri is because I believe in his vision, and I think that he's only going to bring a lot more long-term benefits for this club in the future. Even if he never won anything, the bonus is he would have improved a lot of the young players he's working with, meaning that if someone comes to replace Sarri, they've got the fortune of working alongside much better players. So in that sense, I always kind of see Sarri being that fall guy. But now, you know, for me, I do rate Sarri. I do, and I think that he'll be good in the future. I think we'll be okay. But with this squad, they're not going to win the Champions League next season. We're not at that level just yet. It will take us a few years. But this is where we have to be patient and believe in a plan and work towards, you know, maximizing it. I'm going to answer one more question because I need to keep it moving. Obviously, thank you, Christian, man, for the super chat. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Andrew Hill, for the super chat. It means a lot. Eric, Werner would be a beast. Jovic, I like Jovic because I always like players that have a bit more in their game. That's why, for me, I'm not really too much of a fan of Icardi. I don't think that we're a good enough team to be able to accommodate someone like Icardi who ain't going to work, who's not going to link up anyone, not going to make assists, isn't going to beat his man, etc., etc. Man like Tiggs, great lineup. Yeah, exactly, man. Everyone was bare cynical thinking that Alonso was going to be back, William was going to be back. I mean, of course not. Of course not. I'll answer one more question and I'll keep it moving. Okay. Gary Brown, will you be streaming your match reaction? No, I won't be. I'm thinking if I do match reactions again, it will have to be for next season. I need to step up a lot now. You know, obviously it's good that the community is getting better. Alex Goldberg's been a great, he's been great for the community coming in. Eunice too, and seeing these guys getting better. Alex Goldberg's got a great podcast. I need to sign up to it today, actually. I can't forget. It's only $2 to it. It literally costs nothing. $2. He's getting on fantastic guests. Alex Goldberg's next person that's going to feature with him in the podcast is going to be Asmir Begovic. So $2 is like, what, £1 something? It costs nothing for a month. I think it's worth it. And I think that, you know, it's all about community for me. We should all help each other to grow and succeed. And with what Alex is doing, bring actual quality. The quality, which is important, is a good thing. So that's what I mean, you guys. If you want access to it, go to his Patreon and sign up. But last question I'm answering today, goody score prediction. I think we're going to win today. I think we are. I think we're going to see goals. I'm going to go for 3-0. I think it's going to be 3-0. I'm hoping that the performance is going to be so elite that Sarri is going to turn to using Christensen a bit more. But even then, you know, this lineup, this past 5 weeks has been the most promising, I'd say, throughout this entire season, because we look better playing this football. Of course, there's still mistakes in our game, but it's going to be like that because this squad ain't amazing. Let's be serious. But yeah, you guys, Antonio Concalves, anything for Patreon members. That's the issue I've been having with Patreon. I've been hearing that me producing these match reactions and emailing them to Patreon guys isn't maybe technically like a legal thing. Is what I'm hearing. So I don't want to risk the channel. If this channel never went, I don't know what I do. I put too many years into it. But I would like to find something that I could provide. I'm going to do some more research. Hopefully I can find a workaround to producing match reaction videos and other videos for you guys. You know, I haven't given up on that. So it's just a matter of patience until I find the right solutions. But you guys, I'm going to keep it moving now. Thank you for joining the stream. Thank you to everyone for backing it by obviously sending in Patreon donations, super chats. It's meant a lot, you guys. I'm feeling optimistic about tonight's game. I am. I think that we are going to beat Burnley today. And I think that we are going to get a top 4 finish. And I just hope that we are going to win the Europa League. Frankfurt is going to be a hard game. It's going to be hard. Really hard. But if we want to win it, we have to beat these teams. But you guys, thank you. Thank you to everyone. I'm going to keep it moving now. I'm NiiNiiFC. This is Blue Lions TV. See you guys later for the match review.